Hello and welcome to Conscious Living, where we air every Wednesdays in Vancouver on 100.5 FM CFRO Co-op Radio. My name is Marc Caron, and today I'm excited to have a conversation with my guest, Shreya Chuaha, and she has conducted fasting camps in her native Malaysia, where she also ran a cafe and yoga studio. She's certified with a bachelor degree in broadcasting. She has a diploma in naturopathy therapeutics and traditional medicinal plants. And she also has a yoga teacher of Ancient Ashtanga, Hatha meditation, chanting, and pranayama. She is also working with an organization called Ananda Marga, which is a charitable organization that means the Path of Bliss. And here today we are going to speak about the importance of really good health and how it affects our consciousness and what we can do and how we can move forward to create and live an even better life. Welcome to the program, Shreya. It's nice to have you here.
Hi, Namaskar is the first thing I'm going to say. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're happy to have you here on the program. And I'm really excited to talk to you today about the work that you're doing, and I find it interesting that you have a degree in broadcasting, where here we are broadcasting in the new way through the internet with live streams, as well as on traditional radio in Vancouver. So thank you for being here. And you also have, an extensive education and experience in the world of naturopathic medicine, medicinal plants, that includes yoga and other healing modalities. So maybe you can tell us a little bit more about yourself and how you got into this path of work that you're on.
Hi, sure. So I grew up and raised in Malaysia, and just for you to know that I just moved here in Vancouver because I'm married a Canadian, and then that is how I really started the Ananya Marga Canada thing, and then how I really want to be here and involved in something. So I feel like I can use my skill to come up with something to help people around here, especially fasting, and then get them into shape. Teaching yoga. I'm currently teaching yoga, kids yoga, seniors yoga. I'm helping people doing their fast. So this is what I'm doing now. But apart from all this, I'm actually having a cafe in Malaysia. I'm the owner. And also I just closed down my Shreya Yoga studio in back to Malaysia. And I have 4 years of background as a pharmaceutical manager. So I work in hospital and dealing with all these surgical instruments, medicines. And then I come to I should say, I think this somehow a severe skin issue of myself back to 2017. And that is where I really started go off from medicine. I did not take any medicine for almost 8 years in my life. And I'm still living here as a healthy person, using all these traditional medicines to heal myself, especially in the society now, influenza and all this thing. And then people call it virus, but we don't. People just get sick. It's because of immunity, and that is why we need to detox everything, get a cleanse, and then we can start absorbing new things that nourishing ourselves. And this is what I'm doing here, just to help people from my experience, and also to get them into this field and say no to medicine, and then be healthy, be conscious about themselves. And that's why I thank you for inviting me in Conscious Living Network. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Well, thank you again for being here. And I guess, there's lots we can unpack there when it comes down to when you're talking about being on medicine and then traditional medicines and things. And I have some questions there. But before that, uh, I'd like to kind of ask you in terms of what kind of field were you in? What kind of work were you doing in broadcast? And what changed for you that takes you from a broadcasting degree into traditional medicine, or maybe historical, more natural medicine?
So I graduated in the university. I majored in broadcasting for 3 years, and that is how I got my degree. And then back then, I worked in this TV station called NTV7, and then I was a host, and then I speak things, and then I'm a Actually, I'm an actress. I was an actress. Yeah, so it's kind of like silly things that you do during university time. Yeah. And then after that, I go into a hospital and work as a pharmaceutical company as a manager for 4 years. And that is how I really like about medicine. And then after that, I started my cafe, which is in 2016, 17. I started my cafe with my brother, and then I focus in healthy diet, and then I serve good quality food, not really vegan, not really vegetarian, but I serve quality of healthy chicken that fed with lactobacillus. And that time, I wasn't really having some skin issues. So afterwards, after I get healed from all this naturopathy medicine, I started to think that, oh my God, I'm a cafe owner. How can I sell chicken? And then I start implementing more and more vegan menu, more and more vegetarian menu. I use a lot of avocado. And then in Malaysia, everything is so expensive, avocado, but I still use it. So my profit margin is down to the level of I can't see anything. But still, I believe it will change people by having a different diet to let them see something they can eat and they can't eat. You know, we are what we eat. So at the end of the day, it's not about money. It's not about the financial. It's not about whatever the society gives us. It's about how we feel the energy from the food. And that is what I am seriously thinking that today, this is what I'm going to do. Yeah.
I love what you're saying there about, you are what you eat. It's a, age-old adage that I remember listening to for, as long as I can remember, quite frankly, um, growing up, that you are what you eat. And that you were talking about, it's not about the money or anything about that, because at the end of the day, you could have all the money in the world, all the things and stuff in the world, yet if you don't have good health, what good is it if you're miserable? Now, did you find that when you started switching over in your cafe from meat-based into more vegan, more natural, more whole foods, what did you see in regards to your customers and the people who were coming in and consuming the food you were providing?
Okay, so what is the funniest things that and happen in Johor Bahru, Malaysia? Is actually just 30 minutes drive from Singapore. And then we have many university coming up in our city, in our province now. So unbelievable. People from Mexico, Spanish football player because JB, they just purchased and bought over a soccer team. And then, my customer is all Spanish and then Portuguese, and then all around the world. So basically, I'm serving white more than Asian. I'm serving people from all around the world in my cafe. I think that is making my cafe is really quite famous now in Johor Bahru, Malaysia. So with the question that you are asking, what kind of food that I'm serving to attract all these people is because I really love staying in Vancouver just because every restaurant I go in, there are multiple selections of vegan and vegetarian food. But when you step into any restaurant in Johor Bahru, in Malaysia, you only can find none, or maybe find one if consider you are lucky that day. So my cafe offer 30 almost vegetarian and vegan menu. That is why all these people coming back to me just because they are a sport person that need to eat healthy. So I think this is something that as a selling point to them to eat healthy. And my cafe is seriously running 60% organic food. That's why they like it, and the price is not that much either. Mm.
Beautiful. And so you obviously incorporate yoga into the work that you do, and food is one thing, exercise is another, which I think is really important to, it's a combination of mind, body, and spirit, or mind, body, and soul. um when you're doing different kinds of yoga, from Ashtanga yoga, Hatha yoga, and things, do you find that there's a particular yoga you like best or that people respond to more?
Oh, I love Hatha yoga. It's the most ancient yoga that you can introduce to the world with the sun salutation, with the circulation of your blood going upward and downward and come back up and down again. That's really helped us. If you do it 8 rounds of Hatha yoga, sequence A and B, and 1, 2, 3. So it will actually immediately you can feel that whatever you have a cold feet or cold hands, you can just immediately feel that your body warming up and then your blood start pumping from your heart to your palms to your legs wherever you need it, and then you can just feel so good with Hatha yoga when you practice in the morning. But if you want to practice at night, well, normally I will just do Raja Diraja yoga, also another ancient yoga. I'm so sorry, but and then I'm Asian. Like, why all this thing is so Indian, so ancient? It's just because sometimes you will find something good for yourself, and then you will just cling on it, and you feel that this thing is good for you, and then you will just consistently practicing it, and then bring it out to your thing. Yeah. I think that's really help people Hatha yoga with the blood circulation around. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, when you take a look at yoga and the history of yoga, it's very ancient, and there's a lot of great, um what's the word I'm looking for? There's just a lot of great exercises and movements that you can do that, I personally, I quite like the Kriya yoga, and the way that, you can get everything moving in your body. It doesn't have to be overly harsh or
Yeah.
difficult in that sense, but it certainly heats up the body, gets everything moving, gets everything working. And one of the things I love about yoga is, I'd learned a definition that it was means union of mind, body, and spirit, and how the combination when doing yoga in a very traditional sense, it incorporates all of those things instead of just mind or just body, but to incorporate mind, body, and spirit is certainly a much more, in my experience, enjoyable and beneficial practice. Absolutely. Can you maybe speak to the combination of mind, body, spirit in yoga, and how our food actually affects us in that way as a naturopath?
Sure. So when we talk about yoga, yogi, everyone's talk about yoga. Yoga, it means an exercise for somebody that just knows about yoga. But yoga actually is founded by Panjali. And then, this yoga, is start from the words yog, Y-U-K. It means unite, which is Mark, you just mentioned it beautifully. Unite, unity of body, mind, and soul. So when we talk about body, the first thing comes to our mind is what we eat. So then we will give some inside out, and then they will have some rajasic food and then tamasic food. And then there are so many things that help your body to really like speak well. And then the second thing is yoga. So daily practice, you can skip that. You can just do it after meditation or whatever. And that is what body speak. So mind, talking about mind, it can be meditation. It can be whatever that you read. Just after meditation, you can have a 10 minutes time for yourself. Just be there, writing a diary. Make sure that you feel the energy, and then you go to work, and then you go to have a nice breakfast, and then that will literally speak in the mind. And then talking about soul. So what the soul is coming from, it actually means spirituality. It means that whatever you feel about yourself, go ahead and feel it. Do whatever things that you want. You can practice meditation. You can read a dozen books from different yogi, from different ancient yoga teacher, guru. And then I have so many books here in the house, from different guru, Osho, and then Rumi, and all these things. This is this is something that really helping you to have a self growth, that to a higher self. That higher self will never disappoint you. When you practice that, you really dig into the deeper meaning of your life, and that the life will teach you what you can do And then that thing is really coming from here. Yeah. So that speak with the soul.
Mm. Well, I love how you bring that back and circle back to food as well, because that is what nourishes our body. And then we also have to nurture our
Mhm.
mind and our spirit. And you talked about the importance of, you're writing in your diary, or we would refer to journaling, whatever that may be. Now, what do you see from your practice and the work you're doing in Malaysia, now coming to Canada? What do you see as the biggest difference in some of the benefits of, say, lifestyle and life in Malaysia to the benefits of the lifestyle we have here in Canada, and the pros and cons of each of them, and how we can align ourselves better, just as individuals, no matter where we are in the world?
Okay, so talking about Vancouver first, I am amazed by how many events I can see in Eventbrite, and I can see how many beautiful people they are really organizing different instrumental things. For example, a kirtan session. They are all over all over the province, because you can't get all these classes, and then good yoga teacher, and then any activities that is running from different type of peoples is really like doing different cultural things. And then I see Sweat Lodge Indigenous,
Mhm.
and then they're so beautiful. I mean, all these things is just gather around, like telling you, hey, Vancouver is a spot for all these religion things that you are never ever see in Malaysia, because Malaysia is a Muslim country, for you to know. I can speak 5 languages. So the first one is our official language, Malay, and then Chinese is my mother tongue, and then third English, and then I can speak Cantonese, speaking with Hong Kong people, and then I can speak Hakka, I can speak Hokkien. I mean, all this is my background as living in Malaysia, grow up in Malaysia. And when you talk about religion, there's no way that you can speak in Malaysia. Even just one simple things, if today you are telling people, so I was a Christian back then. So there was one time that these seniors of mine really disappoint me that, okay, we don't talk about religion, but he is a person who telling me, hey, Shreya, back then I was Cynthia, my name. I don't have a Sanskrit name yet. And then he said to me, hey, Cynthia, how can you teach yoga? You are a Christian. You are not allowed to teach meditation. You're not allowed to chant. I mean, what is this? So that time I listened to my mind. Hey, come on. I only say namaskar in my yoga class. And I only say hatha yoga, no sun salutation. Everything is English. I never speak anything with chanting. The only thing maybe some people they do is Om Shanti, but I don't do that. I just do inhale, Bhavanam, exhale, Kevalam. And this is mean universe comes around and goes around. That's why we speak a lot of Bhavanam and Kevalam in our yoga practices. And when we meditate, we speak inhale, Bhavanam, exhale, Kevalam. And that is how I started with this. And I don't want all these religion things that happening around Malaysia, but I am helpless and I have no clue. I'm clueless, helpless in Malaysia. The more I want to do it, the more the society telling me, no, you can't do that. You are not allowed to do that. Oh, you're posting something here, Ananda Marga. No, you're not allowed to do that. Yeah, there are so many censor. So I have to be aware if I am going to do something big in Malaysia. There are so many restrictions and rules. Yeah.
And so you find Vancouver specifically much more liberal than, I would imagine. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Well, I certainly can say from, my experience and what I hear from a lot of other people that, Vancouver is very progressive, very open. We have a, lack of a better word, some people would call it more of a hippie lifestyle or whatever that may be. But
Yeah.
from a city in Canada, we're certainly, you know, very open to many, many different things. And you had mentioned the sweat lodges, and we've got so many yoga studios here in Vancouver with so many different types of yoga practices. And I don't see, as you're describing, the censorship or anything of that nature that you're describing in Malaysia here, right?
Yeah, it's beautiful in Vancouver.
Beautiful. So
Mm-hmm.
now you married a Canadian, you're here in Vancouver. What's your biggest um joy about being in Canada, in the sense of just being here, humanity? You've been in different parts of the world, you've seen and experienced many different things, and now you're here in Canada. How does that um equate or relate to your experiences in other parts of the world today?
Okay, so married Canadian, and I'm here in Canada. So many things is going on, cultural, and then sense of belonging, and all these things is really counted in the question that you are asking. But I do feel that being here is something that I never expect in my life. No, because I have a business. Like maybe many people maybe will think that, oh my God, you have your business here, you have things running in Malaysia. How can you just marry and move to move to Vancouver for a man? You know, sometimes it's not about moving for a man, or sometimes it's not about a relationship. It is something a calling, something called a calling. Like I say, I feel restricted when I do the fasting camp, fasting retreat in Malaysia. I can feel people asking a lot of times, like, what is Ananda Marga? What is meditation? What is chanting? What is that? But in here, I have no problem teaching in seniors yoga. They never ask me this question, and they are very, very strict Catholic, but they never ask me a single question like this. So to be in a relationship and moving here, I feel like my husband taught me a lot of things here. The culture things, that is where I can blend into the culture with different friends, and then how I make mark, and then how my friends like about eternal abundance and all these things. And then, yeah, so many things is I'm feeling love here. And I'm feeling that people don't say no to you, whatever you are doing. And this is what humanity really, really tells a story here, because we need that. We need the freedom to be ourselves, to love what we are doing, right? And this is how we can get into a consciousness in everything that we are doing. You know, we don't get into a point that to a meaning called finite. We have to go in infinite. We are not limited in the source that we have. Yeah.
I
So
love what you're talking about, freedom and the openness and the acceptance of coming to Canada that you've experienced. So thank you for sharing that. I think it's really important to, recognize that and see that within ourselves as Canadians. The welcoming feeling, and the feeling of freedom that you experience as you come here. So big shout out to all the Canadians out there for, being truly Canadian and being open when people come into our country. So, and thank you for sharing that story. It's quite powerful. Um, Now you're bringing some interesting work. You're bringing some of your ancient fasting techniques and things here to Vancouver. And I know you've got a retreat coming up, but we'll talk about that later. Because what I want to really do is talk about what kind of fasting you do and that you recommend, and then the benefits of it. Because, we hear so many things in terms of just fasting in general, which is just not eating, or water fasting, where people just drink water for a number of days, to juice fasting, to, you know, fasting in ways that eliminate certain things and then building back up. So maybe you can share with us the what you have experienced to be the importance of fasting and some of the best ways to fast so that you can get the maximum benefits for your health.
okay. So fasting. I'm a person who seriously is ongoing with 8 years fasting experience, and then for twice a month. And then normally I fast for 36 hours with water. And then the next day I will break the fast with yogurt and also all this probiotic food that to nourish my gut. And then talking about the types of the fasting that you know in the industry, so it's intermediate fasting, and then you have all this like a juice fasting, water fasting, ongoing, and partial fasting. Sometimes it's like you do it at a night. So maybe you start fasting from 8 and then you start eating 8. So something like that, but it's nothing really serious about cleansing. So fasting, some people want to get rid of emotion because we fast during 11 days after full moon and 11 days after the new moon, and it is called Ekadashi. So people fast during that reason because of the gravity from the moon and the earth and the water. So all these elements, that's why we have this ancient calendar with the Ekadashi, Purnima, and all these full moon things that telling you when is the best time to fast. So yeah, we fast on the 11th day and before and after the full moon and new moon, and then to give you the energy of elevate yourself into a better person in body and mind, so repeating. And then that is also to the purpose of balancing. When you feel balanced, you feel better to go to extreme, go to your limit to do whatever you want. But when you are trapped with your emotion, and then you suddenly feel like I'm 8 years for fasting practitioner. I feel that sometimes when I need a fast, my stomach is telling me, "Oh my God, I'm so loaded. Oh my God, I'm so stressed. Oh my God, my temper is getting up. Oh my God, I'm so anxious. What can I do?" And that was a time that telling me, "Okay, full moon is coming." And then to your knowledge, if you go on and search, you just type full moon suicide rate, and then it will amaze you. And then people try attempt to suicide is higher than normal days. So it means the full moon really give people something called emotional balance. That is why fasting is always a good thing for you to get rid of your food for a while, to cleanse. Cleanse is the word to fasting. Yeah.
Wow.
Mhm.
So what would you say to people, because you kind of touched on this, um, but when you think about 36 hours as a water fast, as you had mentioned, to 11 days after a full moon, what would you tell and say to people who think, oh my God, 11 days fasting? Is that really no food, no water, or what does that look like? And how does one overcome that? Because I would imagine that there's some sort of resistance as you start going into a process such as this. And then is there a way to prepare well? How do you prepare for something like that?
Okay. So speaking of that, sorry for miscommunicated with the 11th day. So I'm actually talking about the 11th day after the full moon. It's not telling you that it's 11-day fasting. So we don't do 11-day fasting unless there is some serious disease issue, which I will talk about that. What kind of disease have to fast with which type of fasting? And then the 11th day is basically, for example, this month, March the 5th, and March the 25th is our Ekadashi day, which is the 11th day after the new moon, and then the 11th day after the full moon. So you will start counting from the calendar 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And that is the exactly day that you fast.
Gotcha.
And yeah, so it's my mistake. Yeah, I should make it clear. It's not 11-day
Yeah,
fasting.
and that's okay. I guess maybe that's why I asked the question, because I think 11 days fasting, one day is one thing, 2 days is another, 11 days for some people, they might kind of like, oh my God, what does that look like? How am I
Yeah.
going to accomplish that? And there are people who do, that I do know. And if we look throughout history, there's a lot of in the scriptures and things about fasting, the 40 days in the desert and 40 days fasting and things like that. So I'm just always find it fascinating because apparently, based on, people reporting their experiences, that there is a very strong spiritual benefit to fasting.
Yeah, I tried it when I was in India. I tried the 26th fasting. So I do just 1 week, 1 week of raw food, and then 1 week of juice, and then another 1 week is actually just drinking liquid. So from the solid to the soft and then to the liquid. This kind of process, it takes you to 21 days. But after the long process of every fasting, you're going to start small. You have to start going back, like you have to start taking liquid, soft food, and then to the grains, and then to the solid. So you have to go and protect yourself without injury. And that to have that done, you have to go with at least a naturopathy practitioner to help you, to guide you with that. If not, one person just do like that is very dangerous. Nobody
Mm.
take care of you. Don't do that. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. And I know that, I've always said when I started learning about, the benefits of cleansing and detoxing and cleansing the body, it only made sense to me, we wash our cars, we wash our outside of our body, we wash things regularly every day. How often do people actually cleanse and detox their body from the inside out? And I think it's a very, very powerful practice to get some equilibrium back, as well as your energy and clarity, focus. They're all things that I've benefited from in the past of cleansing and detoxing. So I know you do work with juice detoxes and juice fasting. Do you find that juicing is a good way to go? And what does that look like? I know you have a retreat coming up in Abbotsford in April. Maybe you can tell people, the benefits of fasting and juice, the juice fast, I guess.
Yeah, so back to Malaysia, I have done numbers of different fasting, but this time in Vancouver, I am co-organizing with Ananda Marga Canada, and then we are kind of like have agreement of to try and test how the crowd telling us, because we initially want to start a water fasting retreat, but when we get more and more voices from different person, and then there you go. I am hosting a juice fasting retreat for 3 days, 2 nights in Abbotsford. And then, the juice fasting is safe to go and is more acceptable. The acceptance level is higher than the normal water fasting. And then we are doing it with organic juice. So I think people will like the way that we actually come up with the idea. So I think that this way will, in a better way, better version of a fasting retreat to come out on our first and ever retreat in Vancouver. So coming soon after the juice retreat, juice fasting retreat for 3 days, 2 nights. If this is a very successful things for me to do here, I will continue to come up with 5 days, 4 nights, or maybe 7 days, 6 nights retreat. So this is what I'm really looking into. And I really want to continue with what I'm doing. I love doing that. I love helping people to cleanse. And then, yeah, so if you want to know where is it, I think Mark will
Yeah, we can share some
talk more about
details
that. Yes.
as we move forward. But I'm curious, when doing a juice fast, are there particular juices that you would use? Is there certain benefits to certain juices, certain times of days for certain juices? What does that look like? And how much is it? Do you drink as much juice as you want? Is it portioned out in a controlled way? What does that look like?
Okay, the first thing we have to find a root kind of vegetables like beetroot, carrot, ginger, potato. That kind of food, it gives you a sense of nourishing. So you can't take lemon acidic food because you will feel hungry by then. We want to avoid people who feel hungry, but at the same time, we are here to help people who is having gastric or intestinal problem. This is a good way to cleanse because their body has too much acidity in their body. So many people say lemon is acidic food, but no, it's alkaline food. So the first day they're coming in to have some solid food for dinner. And then the second day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we will just prep them for juice for breakfast and lunch. And then dinner, we will just get them some warm broth. So if yeah, it depends on what we can get from their groceries, and then we will see what we can do. But normally we will take roots product. So it means that you can get the nutrition and then you won't feel hungry and then you are safe to go. Yeah. And then on the third day, we will start with lemonade fasting. So you kind of get the cleanse feeling to purge it out. So we won't do any acidic or any harmful things to our body. No, everything is safe here. Mm.
So that's 3 days, I guess, is a great introduction to get started for those people who this might be, a big stretch for. What would you say is probably if there's any patternistic or regular challenges that you see for people to overcome in any kind of fasting situation, whether it be 3 days, 5 days, 7 or more, what would you say the biggest obstacles and roadblocks that people run into, and how they overcome those to finish the process?
Okay, so the first time when I am encounter with this diabetes patient, and then she's like telling me, "Oh no, I need my insulin." So yeah, go ahead with whatever you want. And then for kidney stone patient, for a diabetes patient, we will look at what they are having. If they really can't live without that, continue with their subscription, continue with their prescription, and then we will just control whatever things which is like supplements example. So for example, people is having vitamin A and C, we would just tell them no for now, these 3 days 2 nights, just be clear, and then just eliminate all these things that going to fill your stomach, because we want to cleanse, right? We have to absorb with whatever that is liquid or maybe just water. And then the next day, you will have the cleanse with the lemon helps. The lemonades will help you to cleanse. Yeah.
So in starting on a 3-day fast, does that give you the same kind of benefits, or is that just like a starting point to get people maybe educated, a little bit of experience in the process? What can people expect for this kind of process over 3 days? What would the ultimate benefit be? And maybe even more specifically, who exactly would this be for? Because you did mention women. Is this a women's only retreat, or is this open to all sexes, or what, how does that look for you?
Yeah, it's all sexes. Yeah, so it's unisex. And yeah, we will come up with a woman retreat coming soon, and then it focus about women's health. But talking about who is welcome to this retreat, first of all, for those person, if you are having a bad breath, or if you are having gastric, you feel you are always bloated your stomach, and it means that you have tons of things which is indigested in your stomach. And I think for those people who really want to cleanse, please welcome and join us. By having the 3 days 2 nights, I am pretty sure that that person will get rid of their bad breath. And even, sometimes someone will smell bad when they sweat. And all this is just come to acidity in your body. So what we are doing is we boosting alkaline, we cleanse your stomach with all these things, and then immediately all these symptoms were gone. And then for people, gastric person like me, I'm always having gastric back to 9 years ago. Like it's because again our acidity. So for diabetes stage 1, type 1, type 2 kidney stone patient, yes, you are welcome to come here, because everything, it just come by a cleanse, a water cleaning. And then if you trust us, come with us, join us, and then we will give you an insight out. And then we have so many health talks during the 3 days, 2 nights. You will never feel you are alone. You will never feel that you are just out to a forest without anywhere. You're just cleansing. You have your mind thinking, oh my God, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. No, we don't do that. We will give you multiple health talks, and then we will give you a mud bath, steam bath, and all these things. And then we will have all this circle meditation, and all this will help you to get rid of the mind. Oh, I am hungry. No. So with that, a help of a circle, a group of 10 person, we are looking at a small scale first, because we don't want to go too many people. We want to make everyone feel safe with us first. So with that 3 days, 2 nights, this is what you can get. You feel safe, you feel nourished, you feel empty, you feel lighter, you feel great with people around, and you can come up with something. If you want to tell people how depressed you are, how anxiety you are, you can just come here and then seek for listeners and cleanse in environment, get rid of your working desk, get rid of your job, come here, join with a big group of, with us in a positive environment. And then this is what we do for you.
I love everything you're talking about because it's so powerfully important in my experience, again, and my understanding, the value of taking that time for yourself and to really cleaning yourself from the inside out. Our world today, as we know, and you see it everywhere in the media and in so many different aspects of, the world of health, the amount of, lack of a better word, crap that's in our food supply, and the importance of eating, clean, even raw, if you can, food. You mentioned talking about acidity and alkalinity, the value and the importance of that. Though I think it's important to know that, right back, it circles right back to the beginning of our conversation where you say, you are and we are what we eat. And the importance of getting to a clean food source. And it's one thing to, eat fruits and vegetables, but it's also important to, I think organic's really important because you want to limit and reduce and eliminate if possible, the pesticides, hormones in foods, the GMO things, so that our body can actually work with it the way it was naturally designed to do. So thank you for sharing that. And maybe, we've got about 10 minutes left or 8 minutes left. Maybe you can touch briefly on the importance of, you talked about acidity a number of times, and you talked about alkalinity a number of times. So maybe you can just put that together in a way that people might understand the importance of that balance for their health.
Okay, sure. So when talking about food, we have 3 types of food. The first and ever, the best food is sentient food. And sentient food counts is like food which is giving you alkaline. And then this alkaline food, it actually, for example, like whole grains, milk, and then a very quality of butter, and then fresh vegetables like root products, any any leafy any leafy vegetables like spinach and stuff. And this is countable in sattvic food, which is sentient food. And then we will go with juice later, because juice, after you press it, is actually contain a little bit of sugar, and it will make it become a different version of food. So we are all talking about whole food here, all right? And then the second types is something that good for your body for a while, but not good not good in your mind, and that is mutative. Mutative is rajasic food. So for example, coffee Coffee, it just boosts your level for maybe for 2 hours, you're not tired. But after the 2 hours, why you always still need coffee? It because it only boosts you for 2 hours. So when we are talking about body and mind and soul food, and that you go for sentient. But if you are going for something that help you to boost you temporarily, and it means rajasic food, mutative food. So coffee, tea, peppermint, chamomile, they are under the category of sentient, sattvic food. And then coffee, chocolate, and all this food is under the category of rajasic food, onions and garlic as well. And then what else? Like spicy food. Spicy food, it gives you an energetic feel, but it actually just for a while. And then later on, you will feel that the spiciness going to your body, and then you start to feel lazy somehow after the spicy food. And then also you have nuts. Nuts, it actually in between of sentient food and rajasic. It is rich of omega-3 and 6, but at the same time, if you're eating too much, and it become mutative. So we have to really be careful with rajasic and mutative. Okay, so and then the third one, which is not good with your body and not good with your mind. So the third one, it means basically like baked stuff, sugary stuff, carbs, and then all this red meat and fish, eggs. And under some circumstances, onion and garlic go to tamasic food, which is the last type. And then tamasic, it just gives you the body has a feeling of lethargy, tiredness. So after you are consuming with all this lethargy food, you will feel super tired, and that is like maybe you can go into daydream somehow in your work, and you can feel the impact in that particular hour, and that is lethargy food. That is tamasic food. So yeah, when you come to naturopathy, you have sattvic, you have rajasic, you have tamasic food. So these three food is what we really have to be aware of when we come to fasting retreat, because we don't choose anything mutative. We don't choose anything tamasic. We only choose sattvic food. Yeah. And yogurt is a good sattvic food, and yogurt is rich of probiotic, which we will always do help people break their fast with a good probiotic yogurt and fruits. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for sharing. There's so much to learn, and I think it's important that we all open our minds to the power of, good, healthy, nutritious food. And I like that you talk about probiotics as well, because, we do know that, our gut health is one of the things that, is causing so much, discomfort, literally, in the world with so many people today. Shreya, I thank you so much for coming on the program, and I know you're doing a lot of great work being new to Canada and bringing your fasting retreat to Abbotsford. So experience, I believe, is always the best teacher. You don't have to listen to me or believe what I have to say, or even what Shreya is saying. The important thing is to take this information and test it, and to do something with it so that you can see for yourself, because again, experience is the best teacher. We can read all the books, we can listen to all the podcasts, we can take all of that in. However, unless we do something with that information to experience, to see what works for us and the impact that it has, is to do something and to have that experience. So I'm glad that, Shreya, you're offering this juice fast from April 11th to 13th in Abbotsford. And I think Michael may have a link he can play through the back of this. If you're watching this online on our socials, wherever that may be, in the descriptions down below or to the side, you'll see some links there where you can get some information on the program. And you can always check out our website at consciousliving.org if you're interested in learning more about Shreya and her work and her upcoming juice fast, so you can experience the benefits of what she's speaking about, which is, a lightness in your mind, body, and spirit, and increased energy, of course, and just feeling all around better. So thank you for sharing, Shreya. And if there's anything you'd like to share or invite people to, or let them know where they can learn more about you, this is a great opportunity to do so before we sign off.
Thank you, Mar. You have seriously like cover everything that I want to say. Yeah, just be aware of our body, love our body. That is all I want to say. Just to know what you are going to eat. When you are really like eating something bad, you feel bad. You give the energy. For example, you are holding an apple. You're telling yourself, "This apple is going to give me a fresh day, and I love this apple." I seriously trust the energy a lot. So I hope that this will help and as a guidance to all everything that you eat from start from today. Yeah,
I love that the act of gratitude to our
yeah,
food, to good, clean food. It's kind of like Thanksgiving comes once a year. We don't have to wait every year. It's about giving thanks every day for the gifts and the food and the nourishment that we get from the planet, from our friends, from our family, and
exactly.
from the stores that you shop in. So I want to thank you again. We have been speaking with Shreya Chua about the benefits of great health, from fasting to nutrition, naturopathic medicine, plant medicine, yoga, and her upcoming juice fast. If you'd like to meet her in Abbotsford, you can do that and follow the links below so you can find out more about her work. Again, you've been listening to Conscious Living, where we air every Wednesday at 6 p.m. in Vancouver on 100.5 FM CFRO Co-op Radio. My name is Marc Caron, and until next time, everyone, take care of yourself and take care of each other. Thank you, Shreya.
Thank you. Namaskar. Bye bye.